Hey everyone, this is Michael Cullimore, and for my Android project, I made 2048. Here's my game. Looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty good. I'm just kidding. This is my game. Doesn't look as good, but it is functional. It works. So here's how I made it. Um, so we have the main activity here. I got docked quite a few times on my projects for putting way too much in my main activity, so I decided to not really put much of anything in my main activity and push the rest of it into these other activities. So this is where all the magic happens. What I decided to do is use a lot of the logging to do a lot of the work for me. All of the arithmetic, keeping track of the tiles, making sure that the that everything is or adding and not adding, anything like that is done through this. So to walk through, I have made a hash map that is the grid of the game, and it walks through here and has the rows set up here, and it gives the ability to assign different numbers to each of the different boxes in the game grid. And so when it starts off, it can have either a 2 or a 4 in random boxes. So I'll bring it up, and when I start over, as you could see, it showed a random 2 and a random 4. I'll go back again, and they just show up in random places. This is just the logic of where the random numbers are placed and how they are placed when each move is made. And this is where the swipes are registered and how each swipe moves the blocks to each side, accounts for what blocks are where. If there's a block and a number, it stops the blocks from moving together if they can't add up. It adds up the blocks if they can, and this took me a long time. It's a lot of mathematics and making sure that things line up and are correct, and I spent a lot of time on these parts. I had to do it individually for each swipe, so top, right, down or bottom, and left. The only thing that's different is showing that they're going on which boxes where. So the bottom ones are 13, 14, 15, and 16. Right is 4, 8, 12, and 16, and so on. And this is the part where it checks for which numbers are going to be added and taken away. So there's a lot of logic here. If you take a glance at it, it's pretty, once I have looked at it for so long, it's pretty straightforward. But it just checks for which numbers are adding up where. This part right here checks to make sure that you have a 2048. and it jumps into the winning result page. And I have yet to come upon this page. I'm pretty sure it works. I'm not very good at 2048 myself. I haven't won 2048 in a very long time, so I have yet to have this code run through for me. But I'm pretty sure that it would work if it got to that point. This is the random number class that I've used up at the top more. And then this is more of the logic that makes sure that the grid is changed. And this took me quite a while to figure out. This is where a lot of my headaches happened. Yeah, that took me a while. But this on-swipe touch listener is just part of the Android swiping recognition. I found a couple of somewhat pre-generated swiping listeners, and I just implemented into here. I found that if you don't have these parts, the thresholds, the smallest little touch of the screen would make it go in a direction that you would not want. So this kind of gives leeway for human touches because they're not always precise. And this implements the code from the game class into it as well, so it's listening on all of these. When you win or lose, this is the page that shows, and it just is the prompt that shows whether you won or lost. And there is a button that you can press that you can retry again. This part wasn't as difficult, but it was still fairly difficult. This is the whole setup of the game board. This is the start page. And this is probably the easiest part of the assignment right here. Then we have different, so this shows the background of the game, the scoreboard, and implementing the score here, and the columns and the spacing and the sizing. This part is part of the game board that holds it together. And then this is the results page, and it brings up a text box that looks like this after you win or lose. So I will show that really quick. We'll just get this to fill up all the way, and it brings up that. I haven't, like I said, I haven't won yet, so I don't know if it brings up the winning screen. So that is my 2048 clone. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I enjoyed making it.